ever a lecture is going to be remembered more by the poster which has been made than by what was said, then this is that lecture. And I want to thank and compliment Harsh for this absolutely delightful, moving poster. आचार्य अरुण कुमार जी, सभा में शामिल हुए बंधु, जिनमें मैं श्री मणिशंकर अय्यर और आचार्य प्रभात पटनायक का विशेष उल्लेख करना चाहूँगा। वो इसलिए कि दोनों मणि जी और प्रभा जी मेरे लिए आदर्श पुरुष रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम एक ही संस्था में पढ़े थे, हालांकि मणि हमसे आगे थे। और एक और कारण यह है कि हाल में ही अपने एक वक्तव्य में प्रभात जी ने बहुत अहम बात कही थी। उनका वक्तव्य हर था, गांधी के बारे में बोल रहे थे, गांधी और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट के बारे में। तो उन्होंने शुरुआत में कहा कि देखिए, आप ये न समझिए कि मैं गांधीयन हूँ या गांधी स्कॉलर हूँ। तो मैं भी कुछ ऐसे ही वाक्य से अपना शुरू करना चाहता हूँ, पर उन्होंने कुछ गंभीरता से कहा था। मैं जरा सरलता से कहना चाहता हूँ। वो एक फिल्म का एक गाना है, मैं पीता नहीं हूँ पिलाई गई है, उसी तरह मैं कहना चाहता हूँ मैं गांधी वाली नहीं हूँ, गांधी नाम इत्तेफाक ने दिला दिया है। लेकिन वो शख्स जो है, उसकी अक्षर प्रासंगिकता, उसका अनमोल धैर्य और आज उसका तिलस्म, जो कि एक नया तिलस्म दिखा रहा है कि कट्टर सनातनवाद ने आज एक दूसरा तिलस्म कर दिया है कि गांधी और आंबेडकर को एक ही सफ़े में, एक ही पेज में बिठा दिया है और उसमें हमारा देखिए कितना बड़ा सौदा है। ये बहुत बड़ी बात। इस आमंत्रण के लिए मैं ट्रस्ट को अपना आभार देना चाहता हूँ और सुनील जी की स्तुति को अपनी श्रद्धांजलि और अपनी आस्था। गांधी किताबी आदमी नहीं थे, किताबों ने उनको बनाया नहीं। उन्होंने जो किताबें नहीं पढ़ी, वो उन किताबों जिनको उन्होंने पढ़ा उससे ज्यादा अहम थी। लेकिन किताबों में उनका विश्वास था। और आज मैं कुछ शब्द मिली-जुली हिंदी, हिंदुस्तानी और अंग्रेजी में उनकी किताबों के साथ जो यात्रा रही उसके बारे में कहना चाहूँगा। सबसे पहले ये कहना चाहूँगा, जो कि जिसे कहने की जरूरत नहीं है, कि उनको बहुत शुरू से ऐनक चढ़ गए थे। यानी कि दूर देखने वाले नहीं, पास देखने वाले, यानी कि पढ़ने वाले ऐनक। और वो अपनी ऐनक को उसी तरह संभालते थे जैसे कोई अपनी आंखों को संभालता है। और वो कहते थे कि आंखों को जिस तरह कोई देखता है उसी तरह ऐनक को भी देखना चाहिए, और वो ऐनक को नहलाते थे। ऐनक के बिना उनके चेहरे की तस्वीरें कम हैं। There is a connection between a person's thinking, speaking, writing and reading. This connecting thread is made up fundamentally of chance and of circumstance. One might say the circumstance of one's immediate environment, the samaja of one's guardians, friends, teachers. Equally the circumstance of threats, deprivations, insecurities. One's environment, physical and intellectual, can lead to intellectual nourishment or undernourishment, stimulation or lassitude. And soon enough, whether the circumstance is congenial or is provocative or rebellion, choices come in, preferences form, and conscious decisions begin to make breathing choices. These reading choices or the books that one reads of one's own volition then come to reflect a person's mature intellect, shaping and being shaped by the persons. Two persons, both born in India's west, in the high noon of the Raj era, but in a strictly non-English home atmosphere, have influenced modern India foundationally. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. One must here be conscious of other powerful personalities like Raja Rammohun Roy and Vivekananda in India's east, Narayana Guru and Periyar in the south, who have exerted a strong and abiding influence on the Indian mind also. And all these personalities may, in a broad brush, be called reformers. V.D. Savarkar and M.S. Golwalkar belong to a different page, perhaps best called the page of revivalists, but are from the same age and have to be factored into any account of mind influences in modern India. All of them invite attention to the reading choices they made, the books they read, and which nourished their mental resources, populated their thoughts, and in turn moved on to shape their contributions. In terms of political interventions propelled by ideas about India's future, and most definitively shaping modern India's political and social legislation and the constitution, Gandhi and Ambedkar are unique and stand out. After stating one commonality between the two, I will move on to discuss Gandhi's reading range, the subject of this lecture. And that commonality is this: both Mohandas and Bhimrao were born in strictly non-English speaking homes. They retained a firm command over their respective home languages, Gujarati and Marathi respectively, speaking and writing in those with energy and effect, founding journals in those languages with the telling names of Navajeevan and Mukhanayaka, which in turn formed the reading practice and even habit of millions. But both of them also learned by intensive and conscious diligence the language of the Raj, English, and went on to become skilled users of that language through a focused reading range and a consciously honed speaking, writing style. By reading, one generally means textual material that is or has been read, but as with ancient prescript humans, children read not through the eyes but through the ears, making early hearing a vestibule to later reading. And so oral books are one of the first, oldest, and Mohandas' first books were in the Gujarati as spoken and heard by him in his time, his Samadhi. A clear indication of his Gujarati reading comes from the first autobiographical work of his, Satyagraha in South Africa, which predates his autobiography marginally. It was written originally in Gujarati, and I will share but one example. This is his description, one that could pass an architect's test, which is about the typical Zulu hut. They live, he says, in Ghas Mati na Gol Kubao, which translates into wattle and dog. A Kubani ekaj gold diwar hoy chhe, meaning the huts have but one round wall and a upar ghas nu chhapru and have for a roof grass or thatch. Now this is nothing original or surprising, but what is surprising comes a little later when he says that Kudrat भूमि की सीधी लिटियों, सीधी आकृतियों बनाती जोड़मा आती है, which translates into this: nature does not draw straight lines. And then he says, "Our nirdosh kudrat na balako no gyan." Then he says, knowledge of these innocent children of nature is but drawn from their own perception of nature, which they have found and we have not. nature does not draw straight lines. I cannot part from that passage without looking at its structure. Kudrat bhumiti, सीधी लिटियो, सीधी आकृतियों, बनावटी जोहमा आवती नहीं. Now, सीधी लिटियो and सीधी आकृतियों make a straight internal end line, and banavati and avati make another straight start line. Together they form, in that end to start pattern, the very circularity, the very roundness is describing in the Zulu hut and in what he calls nature's geometry. Gandhi's language cannot be pared down or passed any further, but the speculation in its originality, in its dare and in its sweep, and in its alternative compression and expansion is something else. I would like to move from this little-known passage to one that describes the turning point in Gandhi's life, or said to have been the turning point in Gandhi's life, transforming him from a barrister no one noticed to a leader no one could ignore. The train incident, as it is called in Peter Marrick's work, has been vividly portrayed by biographers, illustrators, filmmakers. Its dramatic core has been mined to the full, even overmined. But the protagonist himself devotes no more than half a dozen almost incidental sentences to describe him in his autobiography, written again, as you know, in Gujarati. And that chapter is called Pretoria Jate. To Pretoria, he says matter-of-factly that after he refused to leave his first-class compartment, the disapproving railway official got a constable to move him. Sipahi આવ્યો, તેને હાથ પકડ્યો ને મને ધક્કો મારીને નીચે ઉતાર્યો. Mahadev Desai has rendered this accurately as the constable came. He took me by the hand and pushed me out. Now that is about all there is, in Gandhi's words, of the actual so-called transformational episode. No drama, not to talk of melodrama. No tossing out, pitching out, hurling out, throwing out, tumbling down. No abusive words flung at him. No stoic silence in return described. Nothing of any hurt sustained either or attire-dirty tone. No description of trauma, shock, rage. No hoo-ha. Just these two austere lines. Typical Gandhi. Factual as factual can be. Actual as actual can be. But there is artistry in the austere artistry of his style. I cannot but point to the three yos in it. Avyo, Pakadyo, Utaryo. With another O between them exactly as in the sequence of happenings, Rakko. That nine-word line with its emphatic yo endings, Avyo, Pakadyo, Rakko, Utaryo, gives in Gujarati Marconigram the entire episode, the experience, the outrage which not only saw a lawyer fall down and a leader rise in his place, but a road sign, the commencement of global decolonization itself. Truth does not need dramatization. It only needs narration, truthful narration. Part of the simple literary style's attributes has to do with the accessibility of its vocabulary. Gandhi's Gujarati leaned towards the language of daily speech, inclusively, rather than of the library, exclusively. Opening his South African memoir at random, Persian, Arabic or Urdu admixed, I find the following Hindustani. Shahar, Khabar, Jang, Lalach, Nuksan, Naseeb, all these on a random page 172. Marhum, Bahosh, Bahadur, Salah, Kaun, Darya. He could have, instead of these, used Nagar, Samachar, Yudh, Lobh, Nasht, Swargiya, Sachetan, Sahas, Sahasi, Mantrana, Samaj, Samudra. Now why did he not do so? One reason, of course, is that these words, these Hindustani words, were already in the Gujarati register. He did not import them into his writing. He was using what was being ordinarily used. He was using what his oral reading was telling him. But the same register also had Sanskrit synonyms for these very words, which he could have easily used instead. Did he not know them? Of course he did. He knew them very well. Because on the same page, he uses other Sanskrit origin words with the same ease. Sabha, Dhan, Akshar, Sankhya, Pratipaksha. The point is that his style of vocabulary was not extreme this or that, not one way or the other. It was, as he was, in a contemporary phrase, inclusive, instinctively inclusive. He could move from one register to another depending on his instinct to pick the most effective, the simplest, the most natural conveyance. He was no pedant. He was simply Indian. One might add, us zamane ka Indian. Today, of course, one would, looking over the shoulder, say, us samay ka Bharatvaasi. Gandhi's austere Gujarati came from his austere Gujarati reading, oral and textual. The first book he recounts in his autobiography, as having read, is Shravana Pitra Bhakti Nataka, a play about Shravana's devotion to his parents. The scholar Vidit Surya tells us in his critical edition of the work that this three-act play was written by Ganpatram Jechabhai Bhatt, came to be published later as Pitra Bhakti Shravana Natak no opera. The book and the picture, Gandhi says, left an indelible impression on my mind. The agonized lament, the melting tune of Shravana is described by Gandhi in a very lovely phrase. He calls it Lalit Chand, the Lalit Chand of that opera. So moved him that he played it on a concertina. Can't quite imagine him sitting down and playing harmony, but he did. The next work he writes about in his autobiography is no work, but a chant, Rama Raksha, which he says he and his brother had learned by heart as a shield against jinns, ghosts, and real threats like thieves and serpents. Needless, pointless to stress that the Rama sound stayed with him till his very end, when another threat faced him some 70 odd years later with a beretta in his hand. He writes, what however left a deep impression in me was the reading of the Ramayana before my father. Today I regard the Ramayana of Tulsidas as the greatest book in all devotional literature. Practical literature surrounded the very young Gandhi. I have read in books, he writes in his autobiography, about the benefits of long walks. He is the only person I know who has learned of this benefit, the benefit of long walks from books. But there was proper curricular study also. When he writes in his autobiography, with much effort I reached the 13th proposition of Euclid. The utter simplicity of the subject was suddenly revealed to me. Ever since that time, geometry has been both easy and interesting to me. A doggerel of the Gujarati poet Narmad, he says, was in vogue amongst us schoolboys. And most of us who have read the autobiography will remember this. Behold the mighty Englishman, he ruled the Indians small. Because he is a meat eater, he is 5 cubits tall. Now, Narmad was not the author of this, as Sunil tells us. Gandhi can often misascribe. This was written by a person called Naval. A Gujarati didactic stanza, Gandhi writes, likewise gripped my heart and my mind. Its precept, return good for evil, became my guiding principle. For a bowl of water, give a goodly meal. For a kindly greeting, bow thou down with zeal, is how it has been translated. Another genre in Gujarati he writes about is in the context of his marriage at 13. To Kasturba, also aged 13, but a few months older. A very important difference. A few months, a very important difference when the couple, husband and wife, are both 13. In his words, little pamphlets costing a pice for a pie, and then he says, I now forget how much, used to be issued, in which conjugal love, thrift, child marriages and other such subjects were discussed. Whenever I came across these, I used to go through them cover to cover, and it was a habit with me to forget what I did not like and carry out in practice whatever I liked. Now, to understand that Gandhi, just as he got married, read a primer on conjugal love, something fascinating. I do not know what exactly he said he did not remember or try to remember or try to forget. But he says, lifelong faithfulness to the wife inculcated in these booklets as a duty of the husband is what stayed. And these remain permanently imprinted on my heart. One does not know these pamphlets were what might be called sex manuals, with adult content camouflaged by sanctimonious advice. If so, the teen husband had extruded that part of the teaching. Gandhi's life in English reading, commences with the essay he wrote in Ahmedabad as an 18-year-old for his matriculation examination. He had an examination, write an essay. There were options given, like they are given even now. Essays. Choose a subject. He chose the following: on the advantages of a cheerful disposition. How and why Gandhi chose this? Did he know that he is going to have a very cheerless life? And that the only way to overcome that is to have a cheerful disposition? One does not know. Gandhi secured 89 out of 200 in English and 45.5 out of 100 in Gujarati. His English was quite what a Rajkot-reared 18-year-olds would be. He was leaving in a few months for London. Writing in English in his London diary, with his English reading very kacha, he says the following: I always got up, this is on the steamer, I always got up at 8 a.m. and washed my teeth and then went to the WC. The arrangement in English water closets astonished the native passenger. We do not get their water and are obliged to use pieces of paper. This is the extent of his English reading and English thinking and English writing at this point. In London, enrolled in the Inner Temple, he admits, one day my friend began reading to me Bentham's theory of utility. I was at my wit's end. The language was too difficult for me to understand. His English is already getting its sheen, but he was determined to catch it. I always glanced over the Daily News, the Daily Telegraph, and the Pall Mall Gazette. But the bee buzzing in his home diet starved vegetarian wallet was food. I once hit on a vegetarian restaurant in Farrington Street. The sight of it filled me with the same joy that a child feels on getting a thing after its own heart. Before I entered, I noticed books for sale under a glass window near the door. This is his first reference to any book apart from Bentham's in England. I saw among them Salt's Plea for Vegetarianism. Salt's books whetted my appetite for dietetic studies. I went in for all books on vegetarianism and read them. One of these, Howard Williams' The Ethics of Diet, was a biographical history of the history of humane dietetics from the earliest period to the present day. It tried to make out that all philosophers and prophets, from Pythagoras and Jesus down to those of the present age, were vegetarians. Gandhi's very Gujarati practicality hovered over his other reading in London as well. I sought a teacher, he said, to give me lessons in elocution and paid him a preliminary fee of a guinea. He recommended Bell's Standard Elocutionist as the textbook which I first used. Bell's Standard Elocutionist is the second book that he mentions. And I began with a speech of Pitt's, but Mr. Bell rang the bell of alarm in my ear and I awoke. I had not to spend a lifetime in England. What then was the use of learning elocution? London was to strengthen Gandhi's intellectual resources immeasurably. A friend suggested, he writes, that I should pass the London matriculation. Latin and a modern language were compulsory. How was I to manage Latin? But the friend entered a strong plea for it, and I decided to learn Latin no matter how difficult it might be. French I had already begun. I ploughed in Latin. I was sorry but did not lose heart. I acquired a taste for Latin. Religion is not, of course, to leave him alone. Sir Edwin Arnold's The Light of Asia and the song Celestial suggested to him, whom he described as a good Christian from Manchester in a vegetarian boarding house, suggested that he should read the Old Testament. He says, Old Testament. The book of Genesis and the chapters that follow invariably sent me to sleep. But just to be able to say that I had read it, I plodded through the other books with much difficulty. I disliked reading the book of Numbers, but the New Testament produced a different impression, especially the Sermon on the Mount, which went straight to my heart. I compared it with the Gita. My young mind tried to unify the teachings of the Gita, the Light of Asia, and Sermon on the Mount. If Gandhi's writing has been correctly described as essentially didactic, his reading was no less so. He made a conscious choice to read that which suited his temperament and to stay away from that which did not. This cannot be called an intellectually healthy stand, but there it is. We have to accept it for what it was. Did it limit Gandhi? It did. Did it sharpen Gandhi's work in his own field? It did that too. How could I help knowing something about atheism too? He writes. Every Indian knew Bradlaugh's name and his so-called atheism. I read some book, he says. He saw exactly what he has read in the field of religion. In Bradlaugh's book, he says, I read some book, the name of which I forget. That's the honest man in me. It had no effect on me, for I had already crossed the Sahara of atheism. It took me 9 months of fairly hard labor to read through the common law of England. And then he lists the books that he has read in college. I cannot understand how a person of his age in London could have possibly ignored so much that was happening in London at the time. The number of people Gandhi records having run into on London streets is shockingly modest. He could not but have encountered that section of the city's population associated with streets. Keeping a distance from Eros was with him as full-time a matter as keeping his inner temple terms. The newspaper devouring Gandhi fails to mention anywhere the newspaper reports of the deeds of an exact contemporary in London, the macabre master of the human anatomy, known to history as Jack the Ripper. Gandhi's conscientious study in London of Lavater's book on physiognomy and a white and Tudor's leading cases equipped him to analyze the Jack Ripper case. But no, the deployer of sharp instruments in Whitechapel is excluded from all narrations by the self-censoring scissors of M.K. Gandhi. His 3 student years, 1888 to 1891 in England, remained preoccupied outside of his studies with finding the right food to eat, being celibate, and after an initial spending spree when he bought, among other things, that which he describes as a chimney pot hat, counting his shillings and counting his pence. during the precise time that a small section of London society was getting used to the polysyllabic name of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the city was coming to terms with the phenomenon of Oscar Kimmel O'Flaherty Wills Wilde. The sybaritic aesthete's reputation for squandering money, time and much else besides before sinking into silken slumber must have reached the austere Gandhi even as he kept count of every farthing, every little item such as omnibus fares or postage or a couple of coppers. The description of Gandhi in Wilde's letters, circumstantially more than possible, can only be imagined, but not in a public lecture. The only thing worse than being talked about is not to be talked about could have been said by Oscar Wilde about the inner temple swat. Gandhi writing on Wilde after reading Wilde is less easy to imagine, for he believed in courtesy and then provided word portraits mostly of those history was passing decorously by. Max Mueller's formidable work on comparative philology and religion did not draw Gandhi to see the great man in Oxford, nor did Alfred Tennyson's remarkable work Akbar's Dream, in which the poet laureate elevates the great Mughals Ibadat Khana above 19th century Christianity, take Gandhi to the bard's active hearth. Sadly for him, Gandhi also missed meeting an Englishman who was going to change his thinking through a book, John Ruskin, who had been brought back from a disastrous visit to the continent in 1889 and whose Pretarita was appearing exactly when Gandhi was in London. This has to have been a lasting regret. But it is doubtful though if Gandhi ever regretted, if he noticed the omission at all, not meeting Ruskin's friend Lewis Carroll. I regret it certainly, for he might have then got from the ardent photographer in Carroll a memorable sepia of that strange subject to which the world would have tried various Carrollisms for a caption, such as Gandhi in a vegetarian restaurant. Sometimes I believe in 6 impossible things before breakfast, or Gandhi giving himself a haircut. We are all mad here. Or better still, Gandhi while quitting his dancing lessons. Will you come and join the dance? Will you, won't you, won't you join the dance? Carol missed a lovely subject. Gandhi, a great experience. The universe of exciting new thought on the origins of life seems to have meant little to Gandhi. Charles Darwin had died 6 years before Gandhi came to London, as also the world of class struggle and proletarian injustice. Karl Marx had died but 5 years earlier. I am not overly dismayed by this. Neither our collective past nor a future in collectiveness could have really captured a 3-vow-bound student walking 8 miles a day and keeping 9 terms over 36 months while living within 1 shilling and 6 pence a day. And the diarist Gandhi, leaving out several pulsations of the daily life around him, is a loss to social history. The universe of exciting new thought on the origins of life could not have been to Gandhi less. He made up for this in India a little later. Writing to Nehru, he said, Masani has just met me. I am reading his book. Masani was then a socialist. And I am also reading Narendra Devar. I had to catch up. His years in South Africa were defining. The South African years saw him plod through religious books. But the most important book that he read in South Africa, which he mentions in passing, was Dadabhai Naoroji's Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. My first acquaintance with Indian poverty, he says, in a little known line. My first acquaintance with Indian poverty was through Dadabhai's book. And then he read a whole bunch of literature which he so sadly for us, so sadly for the students of his reading, does not name. does not mention. A bill had been brought before the South African Parliament to disenfranchise medium-term Indian community residents. And he got into the act legally. I took considerable pains drawing up this petition. It was a monster petition. I read all the literature available on the subject of political rights. If only he had mentioned it. Though he had failed to see Max Muller in Britain, he made up the loss by reading, but again in the context of religion, Max Muller's book, India, What Can It Teach Us? And the translations of the Upanishads published by the Theosophical Society. In South Africa, its childhood dependence on pamphlets, practical literature, living texts came in handy again. He writes, I had 2 sons born in South Africa. My wife and I had decided to have the best medical aid at the time of her delivery. But if the doctor and the nurse were to leave us in the lurch at the right moment, what was I to do? He asks himself, what was he to do? He did what he would always do, namely read a primer on the subject. I studied the things necessary for safe labor. I read not a South African work, not an English work, but from somewhere he gets hold of Dr. Tribhuvan Das's Gujarati book called Mane Shikhamana, which means advice to a mother. He goes through that. The services of a nurse he utilized, he says, not for more than 2 months each time. The birth of the last child put me to the severest test. The travail came on suddenly. The doctor was not immediately available, and some time was lost in fetching the midwife. Even if she had been on the spot, she could not have led delivery. I had to see through the safe delivery of the baby myself. My careful study of the subject in Dr. Tribhuvan Das's work was of inestimable help. I was not nervous. He was not nervous, but I really wondered whether she was nervous. She must have been, bless her. By far, the most important book influence on him while in South Africa, while on a train journey to South Africa, is best given in his own words. Polak came to see me off at the station and left me with a book to read during the journey. It was Ruskin's Unto This Last. The book was impossible to lay aside once I had begun it. It gripped me. Johannesburg to Durban was a 24-hour journey. The train reached there in the evening. I could get no sleep that night. I determined to change my life in accordance with the ideals of the book. This is the most definitive statement he makes about the influence of any book on him. I determined to change my life in accordance with the ideals of the book. I am not going to detain this gathering on the ingredients of Ruskin's Unto This Last. It is not necessary. But there it is, in his own words, the impact of the book on his thinking. He was to tell N.R. Malkani on 5 December 1938 in India, I rarely read anything outside my beat. Focus. ध्यान केंद्रित रहना क्या सराहनीय बात है या वो कोई संकुचित बात है? गांधी जैसा ध्यान केंद्रित व्यक्ति देखने में मिलने में नहीं मिलेगा। पर केंद्र बिंदु गांधी के जीवन में देश के लिए परिवर्तनकारी जवाहरलाल नेहरू, उनके साथी राजगोपालाचारी, किताबी लोग, ये कहें तो गलत नहीं है, जो किताब पढ़ते थे, किताबों के बारे में किताब लिखते थे और किताबों के बारे में किताब जब लिखते थे तब और लोग उन किताबों से उन और किताबों को पढ़ते थे। गांधी के माध्यम से हमें किताबी ज्ञान कभी नहीं पड़ेगा, पर हम ये देख सकते हैं कि उस शख्स की ऐसी एक बात थी जो कि जैसे किसी व्यक्ति को मिलते थे, राजचंद्र, जैन मुनि राजचंद्र, गोपालकृष्ण गोखले, लोकमान्य तिलक, तो उनसे फौरन कुछ न कुछ सीख लेना चाहते। देखिए, गुजरातियों के बारे में ये सहज कहा जाता है और सही कहा जाता है कि वो लोग किफायती होते हैं। कंजूसी एक बात होती है, किफायत दूसरी बात। समय से कंजूसी रखना मुझे जैसे वृद्धों के लिए जरूरी है, लेकिन समय से किफायती बरतना हर जमाने में हर शख्स के लिए जरूरी है। गांधी समय किफायती, और उस किफायती दौर उन्होंने मन में ठान लिया था कि अगर मुझे किताबों से कुछ पढ़ना है तो मैं ढेर सारी किताबों को अपने दिमाग में डालूं, उससे बनेगा नहीं। रोजमर्रा की चलती फिरती गुजराती में अगर कहना हो तो मारी खोपड़ी में 1000 ચોપડીઓ નાખીને હું શું કરવાનો છું? मेरी खोपड़ी में 1000 ચોપડીઓ નાખીને क्या करने वाला? और हाँ, लेकिन हाँ, मैंने हमें दक्षिण अफ्रीका में भारतीय नागरिकोना राजनैतिक अधिकार प्राप्त करवाना छे, એટલે therefore I will read all that has to be there and all that has to be there without a single exception every time and I will read it and then I will write this petition and it will be submitted in time before Lord Vendor goes back. અને હિન્દુસ્તાનમાં આવે છે સ્વરાજ લોકાં છે, स्वराजમાં જે આહુતિ स्वराजना होमમાં, स्वराजना यज्ञમાં, देखिए आप सब गुजराती समझते हैं, स्वराजना यज्ञમાં જે આહુતિ આપવી છે, જો આહુતિ જાય એ હું આપું અને એવી વાત વખત નથી, સમય kifaयत. But this man, for whom books were a resource, was drawing people for whom books were much more than a resource. Life itself. How is it that despite the phenomenal intellectual discipline between Baba Sahib and Mahatma Gandhi, the most striking conversation continued between them, which was wholly intellectual. Baba Sahib despairing only when Gandhi ceased to do an intellectual discourse and took to something like fasting, dismaying Baba Sahib. Tenor was intellectual. Maulana Azad, whom Gandhi described as the divine, as a divine kind. In his letter to JNU, there is a divine Muslim divine in our ranks, meaning it's a theologian in our ranks. Maulana Sahib, who was given a certain, there were two intellectuals who were given a certain, what in Tamil is called Dakshayam or Bihars. One was Maulana Azad, who was never stopped from lighting a cigarette in Gandhi's thumb. And the other was Gopalkrishna, who always got his cup of coffee in Gandhi's thumb. Intellectual. Not fawning over the man, but fascinated by the man. Gandhi, in a sense, sharpened the concept of philological augmentation in political initiatives. Sharp. And then he writes to me, I do not like the title you are thinking of for your book of letters to your daughter. Nehru's literary finesse is known to Mani Shankar Iyer better than to anybody else in this audience, and I speak therefore with great caution. Nehru's literary finesse being what it was, he yet could make Nehru consider as a caption for his book of letters to his daughter the following: The dawn of history. Love of a daughter is the greatest love any human being can have. But to still imagine that letters to his daughter can be ever called the dawn of history was too much for this man who had no daughters, only sons, Gandhi. And he wrote like saying, not the dawn of history, call it simply what it is. Letters from a father to a daughter. And then he writes to Nehru again, I have read your autobiography. It is a brilliant work, his words. It is a brilliant work. But if I may be allowed to make a suggestion, you have been too hard on the liberals. Now, Gandhi, right, in the terminology of those days, Nehru was a radical in the terminology of those days. Radical senior writing to radical junior saying, too hard on the liberals. Tone it down. So this man of books gets copy edited by this man who's not a man of books. The copy editing is first class, even though one of the many grandsons or one of the many sons is saying it. I should round off by saying that among the books which Gandhi declined to really read because he had no time or because he was not interested, the books such as Zola. I had no time for Zola. But Upton Sinclair, Upton Sinclair's book called The Wet Parade, it is the best book that. What is it? If it's a novel, why should a novel not be dynamic? A novel should also have a moral message. There is no mistake done if a person who is a good novelist makes his novel send a moral message. There, I must say, if Gandhi did not come through as a man of books, he did not make his sons men of books either. He despaired of teaching the love of books to his sons. He is himself said so. But he despaired for his eldest son most. And if I may be permitted a digression around before I close in 5 or 6, 7 minutes, Saraswati Gandhi records in her account of her father-in-law Harilal Gandhi that apart from being fond of the liquid that can cause one to wobble, Harilal was also a heavy smoker. Smoking is wrong, and I should not be misunderstood to have a corner soft and sinewy for it, then I say that Hadilal Gandhi's image as a smoker turns towards something like style when we learn from Saraswati that he did not smoke any aisi-waisi stick. He had a favorite brand, Gold Flake. Visualizing my uncle's shirt pocket holding a gold flake packet, I see a kind of writing style of which Gandhi was master, a kind of Gandhi Bani, and let me conjure and close with an imaginary conversation. And I repeat, this is an imaginary conversation which took place in Gujarati between the father and son, but now given to you in equally imaginary English. Father, so you have been smoking? Son, yes. What brand, if I may ask? What do you know of brands? Not much, but I was just curious. Gold Flake. I see. Gold Flake. Is it costly? Actually, yes, about the costliest. I see. Father, is your problem with my smoking or my smoking Gold Flake? With both. Please explain. With smoking because it is harmful, I am sure, to your health, and with Gold Flake, I was just wondering, with whose money are you purchasing it? Money and time for Gandhi were almost coextensive, and both had an influence on his reading list as on his writing list. गांधी के लेखन में गांधी का पाठन अवतरित होता है। गांधी का लेखन संरचित था, शिथिल था, उसमें वेग था, उनका पाठन भी वैसा ही था, संरचित था, संगठित था, शिथिल नहीं था। उससे उन्होंने वो पाया जो हरिलाल ने गोल्ड फ्लेक से पाया। एक पत्ते, एक घड़ी में वो जो कि जिंदगी को भरता है या नष्ट करता है।
That was quite a sweet and what went into making of Gandhi in a sense. Gopal agreed to take a few questions in case there are any questions.
जरूरी नहीं है कि सवाल पूछे जाए।
समझने